Okay, in this video, we're going to talk about how to set up your schedule in Lesson Launchpad. And I want to be very clear about two different kind of concepts that kind of seem the same but aren't necessarily connected within Lesson Launchpad. And that is the idea of your daily schedule, right? So what classes meet, what time they meet, the automations that you're going to set up potentially, all of that, versus the content management system. Okay, so when we go to the Teacher Hub to set up our schedule in Schedules, this schedule really doesn't have anything to do with like the content you create on a day. And that is managed in the content manager, right? This is kind of the day-to-day for each class in terms of what's going to show up on your screen in terms of content. But the schedule manager is where you manage things like, okay, this is what time my classes meet. This is what automations I want to run based off of these schedules. And so there's kind of two different concepts going on that seem connected, but aren't necessarily. There's a little bit of overlap, but they're still kind of disconnected in a way. So to set up your schedule, you're going to go to the Schedules page here. And the first time you get there, you'll see something like this. Notice it says Show Weekends. This will appear when you're on a weekend. All this is saying is, these days, we're just going to show Monday through Friday. But if you want to actually show all the weekends, you can. You can also change the calendar date here if you, for example, don't need to see July because you don't have any school in July. You can actually just change your calendar date to start in August, right? None of that really matters in terms of it's not going to mess anything up if you change those dates. Notice you can import your school calendar. All this is going to do is first of all, it's going to look at your school's PDF kind of, yearly calendar. It's going to try to find no school days, your first start or your school start date, your school end date. And then it's just going to try to kind of pre-fill those on the calendar here. You don't have to do that. I'll be honest, it's only successful about half the time because everybody's school calendar is different, and trying to design something that can find all those little, idiosyncrasies in your calendar is very difficult to do. So you can use that if you want to, but don't get too angry if it doesn't work. You can very quickly fill in no school days and that sort of thing using the calendar down here. First, in fact, let's just go ahead and do that. We're just going to do it the manual way, right? But you could use this import school calendar if you wanted to, and it would try to do it for you. And if it got it wrong, you could go down here and edit it, okay? So we're actually going to click Assign Daily Schedules. And once again, the whole goal here is we're just going to set up the no school days first, all right? You don't have to do it this way, but this is the way I'm doing it. So to do this, we're just going to quickly kind of select a bunch of days that we know are no school. So July is no school. By the way, I'm just clicking and dragging to select a bunch of days at once. You could obviously click them individually, one at a time if you wanted to. But I'm going to do it this way. So we're going to say, let's say our first school day is Monday, August 17th. We could go ahead and, for example, like Labor Day's here. We could go in and maybe mark Thanksgiving break or something. Actually, that's probably not Thanksgiving break. It's probably here. We might mark Christmas break. You can kind of do this however you see fit. Really the no school days, it doesn't matter a whole lot because this is just saying, hey, there's not school this day. Don't run these automations. If there's no school, you're not there to see the automations anyway. So even if they run, it's kind of like, not a big deal. So anyways, we've selected days, and now we're just going to click this Pick a Schedule for Selected Days option, and we're going to click No School. And so it says apply no school to 47 days. Sure. By the way, if you get this wrong, it's no big deal, right? You can go in and change these. You can change these every day of the school year if you want to. You could create a completely different calendar every single day if you wanted to, and it wouldn't matter. All Lesson Launchpad's going to say is, okay, today is Monday, August 17th. What schedule are we running? Okay, so we've added some no school days in there. And now let's actually build a schedule. So the way this works, you're going to click Build Daily Schedules, and you'll see you can add a new daily schedule. You need to kind of think, all right, what are my kind of unique class days? So for a lot of people, that's just going to be like one regular school day, right? And that's really all you would have to add, right? Just one regular school day. This is my schedule. For example, just go ahead and do this, right? So we'll just call this regular day. Why not? And then we're just going to quickly add some of these classes to the schedule. So we're going to click class 1. In fact, we'll just click apply times. We'll just pretend like these times are good. You can edit these obviously here, or you can drag these around You can also extend them, right? So if you kind of move your mouse towards the bottom, you can change the times of them. So we're going to pretend like this is good. I'm OCD, so this is going to bother me if it's not 9:50. So let's just pretend that that is our regular school day, right? But that's the idea, right? Class 1 meets at this time, Class 2 meets at this time, Class 3 meets at this time. We're going to click Save Schedule. Now, just to show kind of the different types of schedules you could do here. For example, you could have an A day, a B day. We're going to create a late start day, all right? And so we're actually just going to duplicate this regular day schedule because we've already kind of got it, a template that we can use here with the classes added. So for a late start day, all we've got to do is probably, just move the times a little bit later. So we're going to create that. We're going to go in here, we're going to click Edit. We're going to change the color just to have a little bit of variation so we can see the difference there. And our classes are already added. And let's say on this day, we're not starting till 10 a.m. So we're just going to quickly move these to where they need to be. So we'll move this one to 10 a.m. You could go in here and edit them individually by clicking this edit button. But sometimes it's just easier to do it like this. This one would start at 10:55. And then this one would start at 11:50. Beautiful. Okay, so now we've got a late start schedule. So we can click Save Schedule. So now you see we've got regular day, late start day. All right, and we're just going to kind of go with that for now. So if we close this, now we've got to get those schedules to the actual calendar over here. And you can do this in two different ways, right? You can actually just click on a day, or you could have clicked the Assign Daily Schedules button. But basically those do the same thing. So now we can just quickly add our regular day in here. By the way, you could go up here and do select by type. You could just say all days. You could say all daily schedule days, which is currently showing 0. All no school days, right? So you've got a bunch of, or if you want to choose the no school days, or all no schedule days, right? So all the days that are currently marked no schedule, I could just highlight all those. I'm not going to do it that way. I'm just going to do some individual ones really fast. And we'll just do August for now, just to kind of show the point. So we'll click we'll click regular day, click apply. And now we've got our regular day schedule for all these days, right? Let's say that Wednesday, maybe it's a data day or something. You've got data meetings in the morning. I used to have that at the middle school I taught in Colorado. And so that would be a late start day, right? So I'm just going to click on the 26th here. By the way, you could click a bunch of Wednesdays. If every Wednesday was that, you could just boop, drag down, right click and drag down. In fact, I'll just go ahead and do that because why not? And we'll click pick a schedule, late start day, apply. So now we've got regular days, regular, and then the late start day, right? So I'm going to pause this video for a second. I'm going to set up an A-B schedule, and I'm going to show you how to use the pattern builder if you have an A-B schedule. Okay, so I quickly set up an A-day and a B-day example here. You can see our A-day schedule. All I did was I put Class 1 and Class 2 at 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. Obviously, you'd probably have more classes than this, and they'd probably be longer if you were operating on this sort of schedule, but you can kind of see how that would work. And for our B day, I just put the Class 3 at 8 a.m. So, but you can see we've got two different schedules, and now you can do something like this when you need to add them to the schedule. So we're going to use the pattern builder for this. So we're going to click Assign Daily Schedules, and then we're going to open up this pattern builder. And from here, you can just create your pattern, right? So I've got an A day, and then I've got a B day, right? Your pattern could be more advanced than this. You might have like a 4-day rotation. There's a million different schedules, all right? And this system should be able to handle all of them as long as you're thinking, okay, what does this day look like? And you may have to give it a unique name, right? This may be A day version 1. You might have an A day version 2, right? But all of those unique schedules, Lesson Launchpad can handle. So here we've got our pattern, and we're going to pick our start date, which is going to be August 17th, and we're going to pick our end date, which, could be, in fact, I'll just go ahead, we'll do toward the end of September just for now. And you'll see it's already applied it, and we had skip no school days, so this just depends on, is your pattern going to skip the no school day, or is it going to, consider that in the pattern, right? So we'll click Apply Pattern. And you'll see that, okay, now we've got an A day, a B day, A, B, A, D. So you can kind of see that you can very quickly set up a pattern if you needed to go in and like every now and then, for example, you might create a pep rally schedule or an assembly schedule, right? Where on that day, the schedule is going to be a little bit different. You could just quickly create that schedule, once again, by duplicating a previous schedule, right? Don't start fresh. Duplicate one of your other schedules, so that way all you got to do is change the times. And then you can just plop that schedule in on whatever day it needs to run on. So that is how you can set up your class schedules in the Schedule Manager on Lesson Launchpad.